Hello. A few days ago, I met a businessman at Anna Nagar, Chennai, a gentleman with long vision. It was very nice meeting actually. Everything went well, but the problem was the perception he created in front of me about himself and his business. When a brand comes to me for a branding or a marketing advice, the first thing I tell them is this: a brand consultant is not a magician. A brand consultant is more like a doctor. And this relationship works only when there is a complete honesty. Imagine if you go to a doctor and hide your symptoms or exaggerate your symptoms or tell half truths. The doctor may still prescribe something, but it won't heal you. It won't heal your disease. In fact, it may make things worse. I will tell you, branding exercise works exactly the same way. I have noticed many times that many business owners and startup founders walk into briefing room with a lot of build-ups and sometimes show off. We can see it very clearly. They talk about leadership, marketing dominance, growth stories, a big vision. But when you go deeper, the reality is often very different. I'm not judging that. It's human. I can understand that. But the moment a briefing room becomes a performance stage instead of truth zone, branding becomes guesswork. And guesswork in branding is very, very expensive. Marketing money spent on wrong assumptions is like throwing money into the ocean. You may feel like, oh, I am so active. You may feel visible, but there is no direction, no outcomes. So, this is something I strongly believe. You can create any perception you want in front of your customer. You should do that and deliver the product accordingly. That is branding. But never create a cooked up story in front of your brand consultant. Because one small lie, one harmless exaggeration can quietly derail and deviate the entire strategy in different direction. It pushes the brand towards solving a problem that the brand never had, while the real problem keeps growing silently. Let me tell you a real story from my end. This is about Kensa TMT Steel Bar. When I started working with Kensa, the brand had already completed 25 years in the market. 25 years. It's not a small achievement. But here was the honest truth. The brand had almost zero recall. Nobody knew about the brand. People did not recognize the name Kensa. And there was also a big perception issue. That the name sounded close to Malayalam slang word Kanja. Kensa Kanja. Because of that, the brand often became the subject of mockery among dealers and distributors. Now, this is where honesty mattered. I still remember the Kensa team meeting. The initial briefing session. The client didn't came and say, oh, we are strong, but people don't understand us. They didn't say our quality is great, but market is so weak. No such build-ups. They simply said that we have a visibility problem and our name itself has become a barrier. That honesty changed everything. Because once the problem was clear, the solution became very clear. It drove us in the right direction. Coming back to Kensa, I did not start talking about the typical TMT communications like strength, technology, or quality as the primary focus. That would have been premature. When a brand is not recognized at all, persuasion does not work. Awareness has to come before credibility. So the first phase was very simple in thinking, but very disciplined in execution. The objective was only one: name ownership. Kensa had to enter public memory, nothing else. In all the campaign material, we made the logo the hero, bigger than the ambassador, bigger than the brand ambassador, bigger than the tagline, bigger than everything. See the hierarchy of visual. That was a strategic move in the campaign creative, probably the core communication strategy. Wherever the brand appeared, the name dominated everywhere. And we went very aggressive in terms of media buying for statewide visibility, hoarding, railway stations, beaches, malls, bus stands, even auto rickshaw. The media spend was real, the creative spend was real, and most importantly, the strategy was singular. No confusions, no multiple messages. Within 3 months, something shifted drastically. Dealers stopped saying Kenja team coming and started saying, oh, Kensa. That pose, that recognition, that is everything in branding. Only after that, we moved to the second phase. Once the name had settled in people's mind, we introduced their legacy, 25 years, and trust, scale, authority. That was the right time to talk about the credibility. If we had done this earlier, it would have sounded defensive. Here, timing is the strategy, not the talent. Over the time, Kensa transformed from a brand with almost no identity into Kerala's number one TMT steel brand. Today, the face of the brand is Mammootty. Mammootty is the brand ambassador for the Kensa TMT steel bar. Someone who naturally carries the authority, trust, and cultural credibility. But when I look back, the success didn't start with Mammootty. It didn't start with the creatives. It didn't start with the budget. It started inside the briefing room with honest. They did not hesitate to open up. They did not manipulate reality. They did not try to impress the brand consultant. They were clear about where they were and where they want to go. That clarity allowed strategy to work. And once you trust the process that is rooted in truth, growth becomes predictable. This is the philosophy I stand by as a brand consultant. Be brutally honest with your brand consultant. You don't need to impress the consultant with fake narratives. Don't create bubbles because bubbles looks very beautiful, but they burst very fast. When you face your real situation, those fake bubbles burst automatically. All the fake images will be demolished. And then guess what? When they burst, they don't just hurt your business, it's disturb your peace of mind. So, branding is not about pretending to be something you are not. It's about understanding what you truly are and then building forward with intelligence, patience, and integrity. This is how Kensa grew. And that is how a real brand grew. At the end of the day, butterfly effect of honesty can divert you towards a right growth path instead of pushing you into a deep pit hole. So, be brutally honest in front of your brand consultant. Don't create beauty fake bubbles. Thank you.